let's check this out. The little line plot looks like your distracted boyfriend, right? You know the meme, the wobbly lines, ugly colors, no labels, and etc. It's basically plotting the exit strategy from your presentation or essay, right? But what if I told you with just several ggplot2 tricks in R, we could give this plot a glow up so epic? It's like your dreamed husband. The smooth lines, crisp labels, and colors so fresh they belong on the runway. So let's fix this relationship in R today. I'm going to show you how to plot line plots in R in today's video. Basically, a line chart or a line graph displays the evolution of one or several numeric variables. The data points are usually connected by straight line segments. So you can read an extension definition here. In terms of the input data frame, it requires at least 2 columns. The first one should be an ordered numeric variable for the x-axis, and the other one should be another numeric variable for the y-axis. Here I want to mention that you sometimes have more than one variable for y-axis, and I will going to show you how to add more variables for the y-axis later. And for using the ggplot2 package, once the data is read by ggplot2 and those 2 variables are specified in x and y axis, arguments for the AES function, then you just call the geom line function to plot the line charts. Before we plot the line charts, I'm going to introduce you a useful website named as Kaggle. There are a lot of data sets there. So you could directly type kaggle.com and it will let you to a bunch of data sets from different disciplines. And you can directly click the data sets here, and you could also select different aspects or different disciplines as it hints you. And you could also see when is the data set being uploaded. For example, they uploaded 5 days ago. And you could also type the keywords you're interested in and see whether there is any data set fits your data analyzation. So you could decide whether it could help you to practice your data analyzation skills or coding skills in R. And today I'm going to use this dataset. It's named as Mental Health and Technology Use Dataset, and it will let you to about the introduction of the dataset, and you could see a brief overview of the dataset also. And you could also click the compact, which would let you directly to the dataset. And you could also click the column type, and it will lead you to the descriptive information of each column for the dataset. Okay, let's click download here, and you can directly download a CSV file or an Excel file, and you could save it into your path on your computer. Okay, that's about the Kaggle and useful website. Contains a lot of data sets. I hope you still remember that how to read and load data, CSV data in R, as I introduced you in the last video. So first we need to do some package load. Today I'm going to use 3 packages. They are dplyr, tidyverse for the data organization, data wrangling, as I told you in the last video. And we also need a ggplot2 package to plot the line charts. And then load the data. I hope you could still remember. And then if I want to check whether I've correctly loaded, I could use the head function and select my data set name and, for example, 10 rows. So let's run it, and we can see the first 10 rows of the data set. Okay, after loading the data, we are going to use ggplot function to plot the line chart. So for the ggplot function, you need first mention your data frame name, then comma, and then the AES function to mention about what is the y-axis and what is the x-axis. The order doesn't matter, so you could also write down y first before x-axis. Here, if you want to plot, let's see my data here. You want to plot different ages as the x-axis and technology usage hours as the y-axis. You could mention about it in x for age as the x-axis and technology usage hours as the y-axis. And then outside of the two brackets, you need a plus mark to let R know that you're going to plot a line chart. Okay, here is the result plot. It's so ugly and it is difficult for us to read information from it, right? It doesn't look like a line chart because in a traditional line chart it should be only one individual y value can be mapped from an x value. But in this figure, it seems like there is a bar, there is a value interval for each x value, which means that there is a y continuous for each x value. You may think about that because in my data set there are different genders, so each value interval represents different genders at the same time occur to the x value. Let's see whether it is true. You may use the facet grade function to grade the whole plot by different genders. You may get 3 more ugly plots based on the gender facet, because each value interval doesn't only represent the different genders data, but also different users. We could see here each user has one age and can be mapped to the technology usage hour individually. So if you have 20 users aged at 23, they will get a lot of different technology usage hours for the value interval. So each value interval represents different users who occur at the same age. I imagine that if you're interested in the screen time of your sleep, and then you may be interested in the columns named as screen time hour, stress level, and the sleep hours, because you are also interested in whether your stress level can be predicted or related to sleep hours and screen time hours. You are interested in these 3 columns. Then about the stress level, you could see here they are in categorical scale variable. So you are going to first convert these scaled values into numeric values. What we're going to use here is to use the mutate to do the data wrangling. Here is the code. I'm going to create another data frame named as data, which should be mutated from the original data set my data. So for the stress level, we need first to convert it to the factor because they are in scaled ordinal scaled variable format. So you're first going to convert this into factor. And again, if you are also going to analyze the mental health status data, you also need to convert this column into factor with different levels. You may also notice that if we want to analyze the different ages, gaming hour, screen time hour, and sleep hour, stress levels, the age variable individually is the continuous variable, right? It could occur at each different individual value from the whole scale of the age variable. So what we need to do first is to convert the age from the continuous variable into scaled variable. So what we can do is, for example, we could set the age from 20 to 25 as a bin, and then 26 to 30 as another bin, and so on. So what we can do here is to average the different continuous variables for y-axis by different age bins. Here is the code to average the data by age bin and calculate the average within the age bin. Namely, when we want to visualize the screen time for each bin, we need to calculate its mean value. For each individual age value, they may represent a lot of different users' data. So we first need to calculate its average value for the y-axis you're going to represent, and then change the factor named as stress level into numeric, which could be represented into the same figure if you want, because the original format for the stress level is in a string discrete variable. So we first convert it into factor, and then give them value from 1 to 2. 1 represent low and 2 represent high. And then we could plot data using ggplot2 to plot the line chart. So here is code. The data here I use is a data aggregated, which I renamed it for calculating their mean values by different age bin. And the group, there should be 3 lines. The first one is the average screen time versus age. Use the aggregated data name. So the standard color equals to screen time here represent that you're going to use a color to represent the screen time, and you're going to use another color for the sleep hours and for the stress level. And the line width could be set on yourself. If you want to make individual line bold, you could change the value. And to in the labs function, you could name the title and subtitle of the figure. We can also scale the colors for different lines manually. I'm going to introduce another useful R website which contains a lot of different colors, named as R palette. The website is here. You can Google it directly. On this website, you could see a lot of different color palette for different brands. For example, the Baidu, Alipay, and etc. I like to use the color palette named as Accent, and it contains different numbers of colors for each sub-color palette, and you can choose one by clicking View and then copy and paste the color directly to your figure code. For example, I'm going to use this color to differentiate the different colors for my line plots. I can directly paste the colors number under the scale color menu function. Let's run it. So here we can see plot. The sleep hours is bolded because we set the line width to 1, and the other 2 lines are set as 0.5, so they are slimmer than the sleep hours. Finally, if you're interested in the differences by genders, you want to show the gaming and social media hours for different genders, and to see whether there is a gender effect in this category. First, summarize or aggregate the data by different genders. Here, what I do is add another factor. We also want to group the data by different age and different gender, because we want to separate the lines by different gender, but also use the age bins as the x-axis. Here, because I'm going to visualize the gaming hour and the social media hour for the y-axis, so in the data aggregation procedure, I calculate the average values for gaming hours and social media usage hours. So before ggplot2, what we need to do is to do the data aggregation. And for the ggplot code, it looks like similar to the previous one, so I'm not going to elaborate it. Here I mentioned another sentence named as line type, which could define the line type of one or both of the line types. So how could we determine which 3 lines are the gaming hour line and which 3 lines are the social media time? It could be determined by the line type. So the dashed lines represent the different social media time for different genders on different ages. Here are 3 examples for line chart in R. You may want to practice yourself to make your distracted boyfriend into your dream husband. Okay, practice it. Bye bye.